Well, that's what I just told her. I'm like, I think with you, I was like, I think that's a quorum.
At least I have plenty of time, and then
There's-
I'm always running late. I don't know why.
Seven.
This is my life.
9 total with
Nine
Leah
total.
Oh, it is
and,
9, okay.
Yeah.
and Keith, those two folks. Brian, I know isn't gonna be here, he's
Right.
off at his niece's graduation,
Hey, Jean.
so. Alright, so we might as well get started, right? Oh, yeah, we'll start the meeting, and hopefully someone can take minutes, because Ryan's not here. Alright, so let's,
Take minutes?
I'll take.
6:36, start of the meeting. Well, welcome, everybody. This is a meeting for the town of Rutland Town Charter Committee for Wednesday, March 11th, 2026, 6:30 PM. First item up on the agenda is the approval of the February 25th and the March, no, February 25th and the meeting minutes before that, correct? That would be, what, does anybody recall the date of that? That was
Oh, shoot, I don't remember the date.
February 12th, was it?
Was it the
13th?
25th?
It was the 25th, but then we didn't,
February
The 4th? I think it was the
4th, that
4th.
was the,
yeah.
was the meeting
20th.
before, right?
I was
Thank
at the
you.
4th, I was
Yep,
at the.
okay. So I believe Ryan sent out both of those minutes
Yep.
to the committee.
Yep.
So I'll take a motion to accept,
Make a motion to
Um,
accept
I
the
guess we can do both.
225 and 24
Yeah,
minutes.
From those two meetings.
yeah, we'll do both meetings
Yeah.
together.
Yep.
As
We
written.
can amend them, amend them individually in discussion. All right, so do I have a motion to accept those minutes as prepared by Ryan?
I will make a motion to accept
have
the
1 second?
minutes.
I was only at one of the meetings, so I can second the 25th.
Okay, so, all right. So-
I was at both of the
yeah,
meetings.
Barbara
Yeah,
seconded
Barbara,
that.
yeah.
So Michelle and Barbara. Any discussion on the on the February 4th meeting minutes? Okay, any discussion on the February 25th meeting minutes? Okay, hearing none, we'll just vote on both of these as prepared by Ryan. All in favor? Aye.
Whitman, aye.
Okay, any nays? Any abstains? Okay, hearing none, they pass unanimously. Thank you. All right, so the meeting minutes are all set. Correspondence, just to update the committee. It sounds like the town council has looked at the charter and they are prepared to discuss and get back to the town with some things. So, I don't know what any of their comments are yet, but at least they've pretty much reviewed the charter. So that's just a, hi, how are you?
Good, you?
Good.
Brian's.
So we're just gonna, so just to let you guys know, they've been doing their diligence and they're on top of it. So from a time perspective thing, hopefully their comments will be in our hands shortly, within a week or so. Okay, to keep things moving along here, because we're basically about a month left here, right? Tamika also sent me a form to put a placeholder in on the town warrant for this article. Okay, so that's been placed, so kinda, at least we can finagle things as we go, you know what I'm saying? But at least it's on there, cause there was a deadline to have something on there at least, just to be considered to be on the, that was already like, that deadline was like coming up like right about now, so.
2 weeks ahead.
You can still figure out or formalize your verbiage and whatnot, and may as well do that with the charter. So that correspondence went down. Tamika, again, I sent you everything that Tamika sent me in her 3 emails, over last night and today for all the town feedback for the surveys and whatnot. And then lastly, Michelle, you sent an email out to me, was it today or yesterday? Regarding, a couple of attachments.
Yeah, it was just, I just happened to think about it, cause I know we were always talking about what things a charter can change, when can a charter supersede state law, and so I just kinda did a little research last night, and it was just all out there, and it's essentially the only time is, when it has to do with the municipal government. So, whether we use a select board, representative, how the boards are set up, it doesn't, so the document that I sent was just pretty straightforward. It just said what it means in practice.
So at no
Massachusetts.
point is what's in this gonna,
We may have done something, I can't remember what it was that we touched on, but like state law might say select boards have a certain number of things. The charter can say something different. Might say,
Yeah, didn't Anthony give an
Yeah,
example on this,
like-
on the quantity of select board members, like you're in
Yeah.
a town where it's so small,
Yeah,
like, you know, you
Yeah.
didn't have 5 or something,
Yeah,
they would allow you to do the 3.
so
Yeah.
we could say, like if state law said, you know, you have to have this many and this many, for this many years, we could say in the charter something different.
Okay.
It cannot,
I don't think,
Um,
I don't think they've allowed many people to just kinda let the select board take all the money home that they want.
no, we
It's a
can't.
big fear. They're gonna
Right,
steal all that money.
No,
Not yet.
we can't
Nothing against
override
you.
laws about property
worry about it now.
taxes, civil rights, state
Sure.
zonings, open meetings, public records, though. So
okay, all that.
it's just, Chris has those in case it comes up again.
I got a copy here if anybody ever wants to see it or anything like that, but just something she sent me just to be, you know,
Just so if it comes up, we have that
Okay.
information.
copy if
Or
you
I
don't.
can,
Sure,
I
yeah.
should have emailed them, everybody, but I
that's
didn't
mine,
want
just,
to.
you're welcome, to look. There's 2 attachments there, they're stapled, so feel free to review that. So that's everything correspondence wise that I have received and or sent, as far as that goes. So correspondence, and so next on the agenda, we'll move into the public feedback on the draft charter. So I kinda have, well, Richard did I don't know how fast you did that.
Oh,
You must be AI or your name is AI.
I had to because
Usually
my
there's nothing-
my eyes were
Hey,
glazing
good-
over
A good
going
chef
through
never
everything.
tells the secret to the sauce. Don't worry about it,
Take
right?
credit for it, that's
Let
all.
the people enjoy their food.
so you did a good job.
That's all they need to
You did a
know.
good thing.
Right? Alright, so that's alright, so, that was really good, great stuff. It's kind of a nice little thing to go by, cause I like to just kinda go over these real quick if we could
Yeah,
before we. Then if
absolutely.
I wanna get through each email, be happy to kinda go through that with every, you know,
People took the time to write them.
exactly,
Yeah.
Michelle.
Right,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
we should just go through each of
Yeah,
these
'cause
individually.
they took, some
but I
people
think-
spend a lot of time on it, you know.
You know, the great work that Richard did here, just kinda, at least this is a good format, you know, and we can just discuss these in general to see how we feel about these, and then we'll attack the emails and maybe they'll go a little quicker too.
Absolutely.
So balance, so the first thing here is summary, so he's got some highlights, some tension between some goal of professionalism, town government, whatnot. Alright, so balance of power and structural concerns. Several residents expressed concern that the charter centralizes too much authority within the executive branch. Leverage, so this is an email from George, argues that while town meeting remains, residents lose real leverage between elections as power shifts to the select board and town administrator. I don't think we shifted any power, so I think some people reading this for the first time and actually realizing the power that their
Exists,
elected and appointed
Yeah.
officials have.
yeah,
And, you know, it's kind of bringing some things to light, which, you know, is a good thing in nature, I hope.
And we're codifying what was already there.
Yeah.
And the power was already with the select board
There was
and the
one- there
town
was-
administrator.
Exactly, there was one comment about them being the CEO.
Right, and
But
it's,
what,
it's,
well, it already says it in the bylaws.
it's already
Right.
been there.
It's already in there.
And
yeah.
You know, so we're just codifying what the town's already approved. Departmental control, concerns were raised regarding the select board's power to create, reorganize, or abolish departments within town meeting, without town meeting approval. Recommendations include requiring a written impact analysis or town meeting approval for major structural changes.
they could always do that anyway.
That came straight from the bylaws.
Yeah,
Also,
was-
page
That was nothing
15,
that we,
yeah. I
yeah.
Googled it.
Oh, you did, yeah,
I did.
that was not,
I was
I
like,
mean, that was
that's
already in the
chapter 2,
bylaw.
Yeah,
article 2,
exactly, we didn't change
section
anything.
5, no, that's
We
straight
really
from the
didn't change
bylaws.
anything about what
Yeah.
the
Not
select board
much
can
there.
do.
Town administrator accountability, given the historical turnover to his role, feedback suggests adding required annual performance evaluations, written goals, or transition documents. I think things like this get kind of down to the weeds where we did not want to go,
Right,
you know? We're
Right.
not gonna tell a
That's-
department
we
member
went
how to
over the
manage
do's
another
and
department
don'ts,
member.
yeah.
Okay, we're just saying,
That's up to
okay,
the select
it's up,
board.
it's up to the select board, and
Yeah.
quite honestly, if the town don't think they're doing a good enough job, vote them out, vote someone in that you think will.
Yeah, I do, the transitional log or whatever, that's, I mean, you would think that they would have that anyway.
You would think,
Right.
yeah, that's not up to the charter anyway.
Right,
That's
right, right,
really,
that's their job.
that's
One resident questions why the town isn't moving toward a full town manager model.
we don't have enough people yet.
Right.
I just think
I
that,
wrote.
It's Leah.
Hi, Leah.
For this part especially, I think we need to be careful because really, the title can be a whole lot of different things, and manager versus administrator versus executive assistant. It doesn't really. The title doesn't, and I hate to say it, the title doesn't mean anything. It's more what the powers are laid out for the individual.
Correct.
We're not a like what we're laying out is has been, and this isn't that what this charter committee is doing. It's what's been codified through the bylaw and everything. But it's a stronger town administrator, but we're not. There's still certain powers that they don't have that a quote unquote town manager would have, like a Holden Peter Luke's town manager has more authority than a Heather Rutland town administrator. We could call Rutland a town manager, but it would still be a matter of powers that are laid out. And so I just want to be careful that we're not saying that. And we could, based on population, have a town manager if we wanted. We couldn't. We're not a mayor form of government. We're not a representative form of government. So that's the piece where some of its population and some of its town meeting would have to vote to change, and then or through charter we would change that. But we're not proposing any of that.
So
That makes sense.
the original email that came out said, I'll read you what the email said, and you probably don't have it in front of you.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Why would we not be moving towards a town manager model, which such thing doesn't really exist as a
Right.
model? A multi-million-dollar business being run by part-time people does not make sense. So I think this resident is kind of confusing what we have, right, as a select board.
I don't think they understand what town manager
administrator.
means.
Right.
or town
So I think
administrator,
they're,
yeah,
I think they're
yeah,
probably
yeah.
referring to something like a representative or like
I
a
think we found even
strong
when talking
mayor
with some of
or-
the people in town that are other public officials, the difference between an administrator and a manager is really, as Leah just described,
Yeah.
it's really
Title.
it's a title, but
And-
a manager comes off as, it sounds like it's got a little more,
Right,
you know,
and
let's
it's
go.
still being,
But
the town
it's-
still
it's
being,
it's ultimately just what you define the roles are and put it in your
Yeah.
charter, so.
the town
That's
manager,
where the
town
teeth of that
administrator
position lies,
still
not
a-
in the
yeah.
name.
is still a full-time person,
And you would
and the
still
select
need-
The manager
board-
doesn't
you
give
would
them
still
anything
need a
else
board
automatically, just
too,
because you
so-
have a manager instead of an administrator.
Yeah.
So I think we've covered that, I don't think there's.
So it does sound like that person is essentially in favor of how we currently exist. We have a full-time person.
Correct.
We call them a town administrator. And it's no longer 3 or 5 select board members running the town. It's someone with education and experience and know-how doing the day-to-day. So it sounds like that person is in favor of what we have. But maybe it's just a language thing. Sorry for that.
No, and quite
Yeah.
honestly, until you go into a city model, you're not gonna have a full-time mayor running a city.
Right.
With that ultimate authority as the select board. Any select board is a part-time position. And then again, therefore you hire that town administrator or manager to be there for 40 hours a week to deal with those
Until, what
40-hour
was it,
week
until we hit
items.
like 12,000 people, then at 12,000 people, we can decide
We
to
can talk about it, yeah.
use a city form of government. We can still call ourselves a
So I
town,
think,
I guess.
I think we're all in agreement there. I don't think that's a big thing. Legislation process, town meeting, quorum requirements. So this is kind of funny, right? You got some people that think it's too many, some people that think it's
Yeah,
enough.
right?
So I think we're right in the middle, we're right where we should be.
Yeah,
So, you know, we bumped it up a little bit and
yep.
I don't know,
Well, we
I
can,
think we're
we
good.
can.
I don't
if
think
you
some
wanna
people
just
realize-
explain it-
Yeah,
I
that's
think in
right.
some of these emails, they talked about the fall meeting needing 50,
Yeah.
and I don't think they realized that was actually 30 for that one.
Yeah.
So
exactly.
again, some of this is just little misinterpretations, or they
Yeah.
just read too fast, too many, with one extra glass of wine as they were going through it. Independent, so quorum requirements, meeting logistics,
Do you wanna circle back to that at
yeah,
the
we'll probably
end?
go back to that when we get through their comments.
Cause that's a whole. big-
Location, about the town meeting moved outside of 10 minutes, that's always been there.
Yeah, that's a bylaw.
Okay, we just codified it and,
Yeah.
you know, everybody's, it's just, you know, again, it's one of those things they just realized, oh my God, they can do that. Independent oversight and financial transparency, finance committee again, residents object to select board having veto or ratification over FinCom appointments, it's the way it's always been.
Always been, yeah.
Yep.
So we're not,
Not
you know,
adding
it's,
that.
it's always been that. Contracts, critics noted that centralizing contracting authority within the executive structure bypasses town meeting. well, we've always had a limit of the amount of dollar value contract they can do, so not every little $2 thing is gonna be a town vote. You shouldn't have to wait.
We also, at town meeting, there's also usually an article on the warrant every year to authorize select board and town administrator to enter into contracts. I forget how it's worded, select board
Yeah, to a certain value.
to enter into contracts exceeding a certain dollar amount. That's just kind of a blanket because to your point, it could hold up business if we need to call a town meeting to authorize approval of
Like
something.
what I said.
And the settlement threshold, we can just table that too when we go over the chief's comments. Not really sure where he was going with that $1,000 thing, but we'll discuss that then. The election and clerk, again, I think we should, most of this stuff we'll just go over when we go through Anita's and, Ben's comments there.
The first part, though, I don't think that person knows that that change to an elected town clerk was not something we did. It was something that
That was
the
a town
town,
vote
the
a few
town
years
voted,
ago, yeah.
Yeah, I'm
the
doing
town voted on that, so
Yeah.
that's, okay.
Yeah, good point. And charter review and future adjustments. Suggested a 5-year review goal cycle instead of the proposed 10, well, I thought that was like the
That was
law.
set, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think
yeah,
that was
that's
hard
a
set.
set thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The first one's 5, and then it's 10
and
after
That was
that.
not
Yeah.
from us, that was
It's not really,
Collins, yeah.
Bylaw, and again, you know, we're keeping this loose, so the bylaws can be adjusted every year.
Yep.
The bylaw review committee, I mean, I think being in a separate committee is not a bad reason, you could have some members of it, but
Yeah.
just that, we talked about that, having that outside purview is not a bad thing.
Right,
Yeah.
and I think the
Well, and we're
charter,
also not gonna speak for bylaw committee, like,
right.
oh, by the way,
Yeah,
tag.
the
you're
charter,
it,
the
yeah.
charter doesn't say
Doesn't.
what they have to do,
Yeah.
the select board and the,
Personally, through this process, I felt it was important to keep the bylaws like discussion.
yeah, they can do whatever they want.
Alright, so, the first email I have is, Chief Monaco's email. So, compliments on the charter work, and then he has some suggestions. So section 2.3, just, get the old charter out before I start going along here.
Somewhere.
It's much easier to print it,
Yeah.
to look at it this way, isn't it?
Yeah, you print to both sides, you're like,
I know, yeah.
Okay, so 2.3, he comments on, subsection maybe to a town meeting to the sole discretion and affirmative vote. Subsections B and C are repetitive. So 2.3 B and C, B is states, a town meeting to the sole discretion of the select board may be located within the geographic limits of a continuous municipality only under extraordinary circumstances. For purposes of this section, extraordinary services can include an expectation that the number of attendees will exceed the capacity of otherwise acceptable town locations. Town meeting may be located outside the limits of the town by affirmative vote of the select board.
I don't think they're repetitive, I think one is saying if the select board decides that they
One
need
says
to,
why it might not be, and then
and then
the
what,
next point is the process.
yeah, they have to vote on it.
I think that
Correct.
that's actually some MGL, that the board, that the meetings need to be held within the town limits and then for extenuating circumstances that I'm not 100% sure, but I feel like that's MGL.
No, it is, but the fact that it's repetitive, I think it's important to leave the vote in there.
Yeah.
Because you wouldn't just want 2 people on the select board.
To
deciding,
declare it.
Yeah.
Because the first one doesn't say, it just says at the sole discretion, but it doesn't say how they, come to that conclusion. So the C
Is-
just says it's gotta be a vote
Would
of
it
the select
be,
board.
would this be like at a open meeting
Correct.
vote? Yeah, so then
Correct.
people can come and
So
put their
exactly,
2 cents
yeah,
in.
good point, right?
Yeah,
So it's all in the open, on the up and up, everything's done
Yeah.
publicly,
it
not
wasn't a
just,
secret,
not
we
just a
didn't
couple
just
phone
move.
calls that we're gonna shuffle this thing to,
Yeah.
to East Overshoe.
Yeah.
So I don't think, really anything substantive there.
Okay.
Section 3.4 B2. Section 3.4 B2, he states about $1,000. 3.4 B2, no settlement shall be made by a payment of more than $1,000 without authority from town meeting. So this goes to powers and duties and responsibilities. The board is the chief executive officer of the town, responsibility for general direction. The board shall be an agent of the town to institute prosecute and defend any and all claims, actions against proceedings to which the town is a party in which interest the town all may be involved. This authority shall not restrict the treasurer or collector in the exercise of the powers conferred upon that office by applicable law. No settlement shall be made by a payment of more than $1,000 without authority from town meeting. Okay, so that's on the settlement.
Yeah, that's not about,
That's not about spending money.
right,
It's about, you know, some type of situation where,
What did he want? He wanted the amount
He
increased?
seems like,
Yes.
he seemed low, he said.
I don't know if there's some statutory requirement to that, but if not, I would consider raising it.
let's check, I think. Leah, do you know anything about that one?
Lee,
I
do
don't
you
know
have
anything off the top of my head, but I can make a note, or if somebody can send me a note, I can make sure to follow up with council about it.
Okay. Yeah, good idea. Do you have any opinion if there's no legitimate laws stating the amount, which I don't think there is, because, you know, towns vote on select boards to have the ability to automatically authorize work under a certain dollar value in the town without going out to, you know, town meeting vote, right, you know?
Right.
Certain things they can just enter into a contract for a certain amount. Do you,
Is
do
that
you
like a,
do you have any opinion on that?
what do they mean by settlement?
I think this,
Is it like a boo-boo settlement?
yeah,
Yeah.
I think
Like,
that's like.
For instance, if
uh,
a police car crashes into somebody, you know,
Insurance settlement or
yeah,
something like
you know,
that.
something like,
I think a lot of it is generally dealt with through insurance, different insurance policies and everything. But I think that my personal opinion, and I will read a little bit more, but my instinct, my like initial knee-jerk opinion, is a lot of this would be legal stuff, and so it to have to go to select board or to have to go to town meeting to essentially authorize some payments may expose the town to a lot more than the settlement is worth, if that makes sense.
so this
A
$1,000,
lot of a lot of these, right. So that's why I'm saying I think it probably should be higher. I don't know. I want to read. I'm just sitting down now. I'm going to read through it quick. But I would think it should be higher. I don't actually know that we have that currently existing. So I'm not sure where I want to go back and see where it came from, if that makes sense.
It does seem
So-
low.
what's that?
It does seem low. I mean, I don't know enough about it though, really.
Well, this is very ambiguous, and let
Yeah.
me explain why. So in business or in a town like this, you have an insurance company. That insurance company is gonna settle this. Their lawyers are gonna go to court. Okay, if a policeman in town T-bones someone into a chase and that person gets injured and they sue the town for injuries, you know, not the person they're chasing, just an innocent person, right? So the insurance company's gonna work this out. The town doesn't pay this. So this is more of a thing, I think, on a small thing like, you know, something that really doesn't get to insurance. Because when I've had, you know, claims against my company, my insurance company, their lawyers take it all over. I work with those lawyers.
Yeah.
I direct them, you know, and they're just like, hey, you know, when we're discussing settling, I'm not writing a check.
Yeah.
In fact, they actually direct me that if you don't take this settlement, we only cover so much, then this person can come after you for the more.
Yeah,
So if
yeah,
they're awarded more money than you have insurance, then they can come after you personally. So they're gonna counsel you through those things, and I just, this is almost kind of a weird thing, to be honest with you, because we're not really paying the bill 99% of the time. I really can't even understand when we would be. Someone slips on the ice on
Yeah,
a
it's
public
still gonna
building,
be-
they're
it's gonna be
the insurance company's
yeah,
taking you, you know.
Only
you
because
know.
of the times, I'm thinking of like indecency settlement, you know, it's like, wait,
Well,
what?
okay, so,
You know, like,
no,
that's
if
what
you-
I'm thinking, but you're gonna,
That's
you're
about,
gonna go
so,
more than $1,000.
so that's a great point. So let's talk about within the Anita and Ben,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And one feels like one is harassing the other,
Yeah,
right? Let's just call it a sexual harassment case between those two,
yeah.
all right?
an
And,
example.
and if the town doesn't have insurance for that, to handle that and to
Yeah.
pick that up, then the town is gonna be responsible. But,
And that would be the case where,
you know, that's.
That would go
it's
to
gonna be a
town
case
vote.
where,
No. Okay, sorry.
that's gonna be a case where the town's gonna be paying the bill if that person wins a case.
Yeah,
But let me tell you something, this ain't gonna be $1,000,
It's gonna be more than.
yeah,
okay? I can't even think of something that's gonna be around $1,000.
yeah,
And I don't think I wanna allow the select board to be handing out $50,000 bills here.
right,
Because that's pretty much where it's gonna be. Because I can tell you right now, in bankruptcy cases that I've had companies go bankrupt on me, you are not going to court for less than 40 or 50 grand.
Right.
So you write a check for less than that, to avoid it. So
Was this just
I
like,
don't feel comfortable giving them the authority to
Yeah.
have that $20, $30, $40,000 ability.
No,
So
Yeah.
whether this is $1,000 or $2,000 or $5,000, I
Yeah.
think it's irrelevant. Might as well just leave it at
Does this
1,000
come
because.
from the
Yeah.
bylaw?
well, yeah, I'm
that's
wondering.
what, I
Where
looked
it
up
came from. I
settlement,
mean, we
I'm
wouldn't
like, I
come
don't
Because
up
know
I
with
where
that
that
know, I know
came
that
from, but-
Anthony brought in some language throughout that we sometimes modified or maybe left in.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think, this is section 3, so this was a little while ago.
Well,
Maybe
there was
since we last-
something, but it was before that he scrubbed.
Yeah,
I mean, I can't imagine we wouldn't have come up with that figure. It came from somewhere
No,
else. Yeah, you know what I
right.
mean?
The board shall refer all articles in every town meeting warrant to the finance committee, but that's the only thing that I got scrubbed from that
There should be a,
meeting, December, this was from, I don't even know when that was.
there should be a thing on
If
select.
the insurance company pays, the town meeting doesn't vote on that. The insurance company's just gonna pay it.
Yeah,
Workers' comp, if someone's hurt on the job here, they're gonna just pay that.
Yeah.
So,
It's not like home, like.
that's why, like, what's
like
an
you have
example,
personal
like, why?
insurance and
That's
you
why
have
this is
a
such
big
a-
That's right, I
deductible.
would
very
like to know
obscure
what's-
thing.
Yeah.
Again, I think something like
What's
that.
that example that you're asking that it be raised, like, what are you?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
it's in it's in the bylaw. It is Article 2 of the bylaw, select board powers, duties. It's word for word from the bylaw, so
Okay,
it's the bylaw that did this.
okay.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, maybe this is the situation where people are gonna read the charter, but they're not gonna read every single bylaw.
No.
Like, you know what
I
I mean,
know.
cause it's,
I know.
no.
This is the
it's just-
first time I've looked
no,
at them, was going through this
Seriously,
today, I'm
'cause
like,
that's,
oh my
it's a lot of
god.
bylaws to read.
It
I
is.
mean,
This is,
you
yeah,
know, like,
this
you
is
know,
direct from the
Like page
bylaw.
15, like, wow, how many pages out?
So
Yes,
the fact that it's a bylaw, it's probably best just to leave it there.
Yep.
Let the bylaw committee deal with this if they wanna change it and adjust it.
I'm also not sure if this is one of the ones that every year at the annual town meeting in May, there's, like I said, there's an article that authorizes select board to enter into contracts and do stuff. I'm not sure if this is one of those articles that encompasses that.
No, this does not encompass contracts,
No.
Leah. This is
Right,
strictly,
no. I understand that, but what I'm saying is I'm not sure, I don't have off the top of my head the language of the town meeting warrant article that we vote on almost yearly. And if it encompasses settlements in addition to contracts or not. That's what I'm not sure.
well, the very next item in the charter reads, unless specifically conferred by bylaw or the general laws to another, the select board shall have exclusive power to negotiate and enter into contracts. And such board shall be authorized to delegate such authority as appropriate.
Yeah.
So that's just a general contract, for simplex fire alarm, to maintain your fire alarms, right, in the schools or whatever it is, or your buildings.
Did somebody, did somebody have a question about contracts? That was one of those, right? We already went over that.
So we all in favor of just leaving it at 1,000?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And then you had 3.4G. 3.4G, in the event of a TA vacancy, I would prefer language that requires the select board to authorize, delegate TA duties to another town official. I thought that's what it does.
It gives the select board the authority to do with it what they want. I think he's saying,
oh, I guess it's just too broad, or it doesn't,
yeah,
I mean, it could encompass that.
Three,
it
four.
could, right, and I think we deliberately wanna be broad in that we don't want to be,
Right.
I think what he's saying is he wants it to say that the select board shall confer authority to another town official in the absence of a town administrator, and not may. I think best practice is that they should, but I don't know again how specific we want in the charter versus not.
I think the way we have it is correct, because it allows you to do that, okay? But if you end up going down through certain people and you don't feel they have the ability to do the job properly, then, and you folks as a select board feel you can do it better than a certain person that's left to do it, then that's basically what it's saying, is that then you gotta ultimately do it. If you can't find
Right.
someone else to do it, then you're doing it, but someone's doing it. And that's really, I think, the important part to remember here in this, is that somebody is gonna pick up those duties.
Yeah.
And that's kind of
Right.
motivation for the select board to find someone,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Whether it's an outside intern person, an internal intern person.
Well, then maybe we can have it say that, right? Then the select board shall find an appropriate like, I don't know, or just,
It's already in their duties to do that. How do,
Yeah.
And there is no other town official delegated or authorized to perform the administrator's duties, then the
Well,
select
since
board
how-
shall
Oh,
exercise those.
yeah.
seems
Well,
how we just went through this, like,
No.
why would there ever, well, unless you said, unless somebody's a dip, you know, cause like, didn't we just have this? Town administrator left,
Town administrator.
went
It
to
was
Seth.
it
Right.
was-
Yeah, and
And
then it went to
then they
Seth.
felt he
Yeah.
was capable of it,
Okay.
okay? But what if he's out on injury?
Oh,
What if the
okay.
police
Then
chief
you-
is out?
then you have to go
okay?
to
Okay.
somebody
And you get
else.
interim
Well, that's what
guys
I mean,
there.
is there a chain of
You know, and-
command
and
that it
that-
goes like,
Well, that's
so
up to them.
president, vice
So that's-
That's up
president?
to them, who
that's-
they feel
They-
is next in
right.
line. They felt
Okay.
Seth was the best.
So there's
next
nothing
option.
set,
yeah.
Nothing set in
then
stone.
it shall be this one, then it shall be this
Because
one.
you don't know who's in there. You
Okay.
can't just go to this department, that department, this
Okay.
department, because like
Yeah.
you said,
We-
if you get someone that's not that strong in a certain department, but they're next up in the chopping block,
Okay,
boy, you're kind of in a pickle
Right.
here.
yep.
So I think that's too tight for the charter to be.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know, exactly,
Yeah.
because, I mean, you can't tell who would be the
I mean,
appropriate
I agree with
person,
you, Richard,
Yeah,
this language
yeah.
may not be the best to explain what we're doing
Yeah.
here,
But, yeah.
but I think if you just read through it, I mean, that's what it's doing.
Yeah,
If
yeah,
you read
yeah,
it
yeah.
quick, you might not get it,
Right,
but
right.
I think ultimately, when you really kind of just relax and read it, it's,
Other town official delegated or yep. That
Or
makes sense.
authorized
there
by
could
the
be a few more
select
adverbs
board.
and adjectives
Yeah,
in here
Yeah,
to say that, to
Right.
infer more that
Yeah.
after they've exhausted all other
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
options, you know.
because then it goes
But
back to what the
Again, that's getting
duties
too
are.
specific,
Yeah.
Yeah,
you know, so.
cause it wouldn't always be the same person that
It's
you,
not.
yeah, you know what I mean,
It's not
like,
always gonna be, and
Yeah.
well, sometimes you might have a select board member that is retired and actually was a former town administrator somewhere and say, you know what, hey, I'll do it,
Yeah.
Do it, yeah.
you know, and so,
That's true.
all right. So keep that as is, okay. 35A 3. 3, number 5. No, number 3, I'm sorry, 35A, but I'm losing my mind here. Yeah, 35A 3. Rutland has accepted MGL, which states in part the selectmen of any such town shall appoint a chief of police and such other officers as they deem necessary. I think police chief should be included. on
Was
the
that
list
just
as
an
well.
omission? Because fire chief is there, right? Because you have town accountant, fire chief.
Leah, why do we have a hired police chief and not an appointed police chief?
I have to go back and look at the MGL that we accepted a few years ago. There's a thing called a strong fire chief. There's strong chiefs. Strong fire chief is stronger than a strong police chief, and I'm not sure of the hiring authority for a strong police chief. I will go back and check. I know the hiring authority for a strong police fire chief is the select board. And so I will have to go back and look at that language because that was something that was recently adopted, but I know that there's differences between the two strong chiefs, if that makes sense.
Okay,
So,
can you check with the town council on that one too?
yeah.
And you can see his email, he references MGL C4,
Yeah, I
you
saw
know, I mean, he's got the law right there, so I mean, I can't say I can
Yeah.
argue with the guy, I mean, he
no,
sounds
I
like he
mean,
knows what he's
it makes
talking about.
sense, but I don't,
And he is the policeman.
Yeah,
They do know the law pretty good. Just saying, better than me most of the time, I get that.
And honestly, I think some of this goes back and forth because I think some of it was to try to take some of the politicalization of these roles out of it and
That's
to
my point.
give the hiring to someone who is in the know as far as best practices and in industry versus the politics of an elected board. But
And again, if it is the select board, in fact, as he's stating, MGL states, you could delegate that to the town administrator to go out and
Correct.
find your police chief, and then, but you're the person that does the final
Approves
say, and
it,
then,
yeah,
and does the
Right.
actual, specific hiring and whatnot, so I don't
Yep.
think, you can still accomplish what we're kind of thinking here and, meet the law intent, anyway, so check with them, does anybody object to that being under that, if that is the law?
No.
I'm trying
No,
to
I
find
remember
the
we
law.
Yeah,
were
you all pretty much in
talking-
favor of adding him to that list?
Yeah.
If she comes back and says, yeah, it's the law.
But there was, I remember talking about that and the chiefs and the differences, yeah.
I do too. I don't really
There's a-
remember much
yeah,
about
I
it.
don't remember.
I don't know that we ever asked Anthony and Becca specifically about that,
Yeah,
but I would think if our town council can answer that.
Yeah,
Um, Okay, so we'll check that. I think that was everything for the chief. Okay, so cranking along here, I got this email from, I believe it's Erin McClintock. She goes on very much here, seems like she's very much in support of it. For that reason, I respectfully offer the following recommendations, so I'll just go to the recommendations at the bottom of the email. It's a 4-page email, so she got quite a few things here. Add stronger accountability and continuity expectations for town administrator. Charter appropriately professionalizes town administration, consolidates many operational responsibilities of the town administrator. However, this also makes the role extremely powerful, while our town has historically struggled to retain administrators for long periods. To promote stability and continuity, I recommend adding as required annual performance evaluation conducted by the select board with a publicly available summary. I don't see how that's gonna make it.
Well, not into the
That's-
charter.
If I may, that's usually in employment contracts. And so the past couple employment contracts haven't included annual reviews.
so can a resident come before the select board and, is the review, like the review process?
It's very public. We do it in an open meeting, and that's actually sometimes it can be some of the challenges, because if there's not specifically for Rutland, but just in general, if it's a personality thing or something, this is their career, town administrator's career, and so to be mindful of, even though they may not be a good fit for our community, it doesn't mean that they're a bad fit for another community. So how to communicate that without, if that makes sense.
Yes.
So
That's a
everything
slippery
is very,
slope.
very public.
Listen, they know what they get into, it's a public job, but still, it's a slippery slope. You gotta give the person respect. They are
Exactly.
humans, you
So
know.
this is already something
They'll-
that's
they'll let
being
it
done.
drag through the mud.
It's done, and it's in. I mean, this is all stuff that's in the employment contracts with the town administrators. So
And I think it's best to leave it there because, you know,
Doesn't need to be in the chart.
because things like this can deter people from wanting this job if they think they're gonna be put up in front of a, you know, Pontius Pilate and the
Yeah,
rest of
yeah,
the
yeah,
campus
yeah,
there to
yeah.
crucify you, for crying out loud. I don't know that that's a good idea. Required transition documentation, so institutional knowledge is preserved during leadership changes.
I think that's select board in their
Do you
contract.
see that
Yeah,
as an
that's
issue?
what I was
No,
wondering, like,
yeah.
so they have a log, I would think they're, like, emails and notes and stuff.
Yeah.
we have meeting minutes.
Meeting
too.
minutes,
Yeah,
yeah,
I don't
you
think
know,
that the
like,
town
it's all
charter
gonna
has
be
any
there.
Control over that, you need.
Dude,
no,
that's
no.
for sure. I don't think we
Yeah.
should be going
Yeah.
there, so.
Yeah, it's not-
Well, that
We'll
would
keep-
be
we'll
like,
keep moving on.
like, that's
Yeah.
what you do, like, you have staff meetings,
Again,
you
that's
have a
almost-
record of staff
Yeah.
meetings, like, that's what it would be, so they should have that as their
It's done.
as their workflow, that should be part
Correct.
of their workflow.
Not
It's
a-
part of ours, I don't know.
not-
It's good, should be good, it's good management
Yeah.
practices anyway,
Yeah,
so
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
you would hope they're doing that. And again, I don't think it's the
But
charter.
it's not for us to
It's not
put
the
it-
charter
yeah.
to start telling them how to sign their name on a document here, this is getting, you know.
Yeah,
Strengthen guardrails around departmental reorganization authority. Charter allows the select board to reorganize, consolidate, abolish departments following a public hearing. Why flexibility is important, the authority could signify reshaping town government, limited checks and balances is low. I recommend considering town meeting approval for major structural changes affecting departments or boards. A required written impact analysis, financing, staffing, and other services before implementation. A longer public review period between hearing and final vote. These measures would ensure transparency and community confidence in structural decisions.
it's a bylaw.
Yeah, it was.
It's a bylaw.
We
That's
just pulled it
verbatim
right
from
from
the
the
bylaw.
bylaw, right?
It's,
And I think a lot of this is, like, town approves the budget, and the budget really dictates what does or doesn't happen. And so while there may be some reorganization or if an opportunity arises because of staff departure or whatever, to try to hire a cross-functional person or
Yeah,
something, it's not a total, we're still operating by the budget that passed at town meeting.
and quite honestly, I'm not in favor of a longer public review period here, because when you need to make cuts, you need to make them quickly.
Yeah.
dragging this out for a year is gonna cost the town money that it may not, which is the reason why you're trying to make these
It
changes.
does say in it too, like it's the DPW is a different entity and
Yeah,
like
you
this and
can't-
that,
you
cause
can't,
that's
right.
where I first went when I first read that. I'm like, wait, what? But it's, certain
But
things can't
it's
be
too in the
touched.
weeds anyway for the what the
Yeah.
charter is
Yeah.
supposed to,
We're not mandating an
Yeah.
events committee and,
Yeah,
you know,
a dissolution of, the library trustees, you know,
Mhm.
yeah,
Right.
yeah, can't do that.
okay, so we don't feel that's no big deal there. Preserve independence of the finance committee. Finance committee plays crucial roles always for ratification. So possible improvements could include remove select board ratification.
How else do they get sworn
I
in?
just think that you kinda need also a check and balance for the town,
Yeah.
because it's just a moderator appointing these people.
right,
And, for the same reason that the FinCom is that oversight body of money,
Mhm.
the select board is that oversight for the town to make sure there's no shenanigans going on there as well.
Mhm.
So I'm not,
Goes both
I don't know that I would, yeah, I agree, right?
Yeah.
Richard, good
And
point.
I know we had a lot of conversation about this as far as that should really, unless there's an egregious concern, it should really be a ratification and not an interview and the select board to decide if there's a better person out there, but just kind of
Yeah.
say this to your point that there's some level of checks and balances and transparency. It may not be the person the select board wants, but are they a good person and are they going to work best for the town? I think should be the scope that it's looked at.
and it does say ratification anyway.
Yep.
When was the last time you all, do you know, didn't
Didn't approve somebody.
ratify
Yeah.
someone that Randy selected?
Or anybody else.
We don't know that there's ever been a FinCom person that hasn't that has been met with a lot of challenge or any challenge.
So that's kind of a non-issue then.
But I think this is to the point of like we have Randy as a town moderator right now, but Randy's not forever and always going to be a town moderator. So just as this current select board's not always and forever going to be the current select board or the current FinCom. So we want to kind of future proof this also. And so to just
Mhm.
have some level of an additional set of eyes.
Right,
Requiring, okay, so I think we're gonna leave that the way it is, right? Nah. Requiring written cause and a supermajority vote to reject an appointment? I don't,
We don't do we don't do supermajority on our select board, correct?
I think that this was, and I'm not in front of my computer at the moment, but I think that this was if there was a concern about a FinCom member, a FinCom appointee or a FinCom member, that it wasn't just kind of at the will of the current boards. There had to be a true, again, to keep those checks and balances, that there had to be a true overwhelming sense of this is the right thing to do for town and not a politics game.
but it
Yeah.
seems like it's a non-issue anyway, so.
I think we're fine.
and it's done in an open hearing.
Yeah.
It's done at a
And people can
town
attend the
meeting.
hearing, that's the thing,
Select
like,
board
Yeah.
meeting, so.
people, like, a lot of talk is about transparency and anybody, like, there's not many closed door sessions of anything here. You can come to the meeting, people have come to these meetings, you can go to the select board, you know what I mean?
Barbara, you said something beautiful.
What?
A lot of people think transparency is, well, their idea of transparency is you bringing it to them on a silver platter, putting it in front of them every time you're doing something.
Yeah.
Rather than getting off their duffer and getting involved.
Yeah.
Transparency is a funny word. It means a lot of things
Yeah.
to different people, but
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
leave it at that.
Yeah.
But you touched on
Nobody
it
told
very,
me.
very much more
Really.
eloquently than I would have.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Coming up on point number 4, here we go.
Yeah, okay, protect participation and accessibility in town meeting decisions.
This
Read
kind
through
of
the whole
speaks to
thing.
that
Yeah, the whole thing.
point.
Are they making that point?
Yeah,
Well,
I encourage
I mean-
consideration of measures that support accessibility such as expanded communication and posting practices to ensure residents can easily access budgets, reports, and materials in advance. They're right on the website.
Isn't
Stuff
it
is all
already?
out there.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
have learned so much about town meeting and the whole process just from being
here.
on this. I
yeah,
have
yeah.
lived here over 40 years and I learned more
Yeah.
in this time frame
Right.
about how stuff works You know, you just gotta,
The last one's kind of
all the
process.
information's out there, yeah.
'Cause it's got
Who knew?
continued exploration of participation tools that will help working families stay informed and engaged. So I think that's kind of the issue with this particular email, maybe that they just don't feel like they're connected, and it's kind of obvious.
Well,
There are loads of seats, if you're listening. There
But
are
if
loads of
people,
seats
but if
available
people
on all
don't
kinds of
know
boards.
that all this stuff, and, cause I can
But it's on the
appreciate that,
website.
Right.
but I didn't know that until
It's hard when you're a
I
working
started
family,
this. I
right?
am a working family,
Yeah.
and I had,
You never thought
I
to
didn't know
just
that.
go to look
All
at
these
them.
little things go on. and-
no, why would I think to
You-
look
you
on
know,
the town
even-
website for simple things? I'd rather just bitch from my couch, you know, but, and that's it, but
Bring me my
it's,
silver platter with my
But
I
transparency.
know,
but
like,
but I
God,
do think
brr.
Tamika has
but you
gotten-
gotta go,
is-
but they've
I-
got
been
Zoom,
tremendous.
they've
And I
got,
said-
Yeah,
they've
with
got all
posting
kinds
things.
of options
Yeah,
that
yeah.
you can,
You
there's
can
so
bring
many
them once to the water,
options.
but they can't make them drink it.
Yeah.
And I said, I assumed it's Tamika who does the
She did.
Facebook blurbs and
Yeah, she
all
does all
that
that.
stuff.
I
Yeah,
mean,
so-
I have to give this person props, cause they really thought about it, and they
They did.
really
Did a hell of a
thought,
job.
Really thought
Yeah.
about
About,
what they wanted.
Yeah.
and
like, what they wanted to see, and maybe this is something that could awaken them to like, geez, this is.
But
this
to know
is-
now that like, so 2 weeks ahead of time, the budget is posted, this is posted, that is like, everything is
yeah, yeah.
posted, and it's timely, and it's purposeful, and
Right.
there's a
You know,
process,
folks,
so.
it's hard to find time to
It is.
volunteer or to
It
go to a
is.
meeting and
Yeah.
be a listener.
Yeah,
It's hard,
yeah,
but you know what? What's easy in this world?
nothing,
Yeah,
yeah,
Nothing.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, where your priorities lie, it
right.
changes, life moves and ebbs and flows.
Yeah, and,
Yeah.
But do the best you can, that's all. you
and
can
these
do.
are volunteer positions, I think people do the best they can, but where is a spot now where you can like really talk to a human being? Like, there's not
Yeah.
much of that in this world, so you're gonna have to look it up on the internet or where it's posted.
Yeah.
It does put a little bit of
Well, but
onus
maybe
on
that would
you,
be,
but
if they put like a mailer of, like a schedule or something like that, and like put it, call me old fashioned, but put it at the post office, like put it at the police department, put it at those types of
Yeah.
places, like, you know, or the town hall,
Honestly, you know, a
you
lot of
know?
communication through the schools helps a lot of the majority. I mean, Rutland is a,
yeah.
you know, a family kind of town, let's
Right,
face it, right?
yes,
So
yeah.
half the population's in that family raising mode.
Yeah.
And, you know, I found through different sports things, we got information out to people that way.
Yep,
You know,
yeah.
that was one of the very effective ways.
Well, up at the concerts,
But
that's
it-
awesome, cause you're like, hey,
Yeah.
did you guys know that? You know, that's not our place, but, you know,
The last one, number 5, it's kind of the same theme here. I don't want to beat a dead horse. I want to keep moving along through these things. We have a lot to cover. Publicly available register of major town contractors and vendors. I mean, all that stuff's available. Again, you know, it's they got to do the digging. It's not that easy to find. There's a lot of information in this town.
Yeah.
You know, and navigating through it is not easy sometimes. But reach out to people in town. They'll help you find it. I mean, Tamika and Anita and Ben, they're great resources to get you find some of this information for you. So.
I did think that one part of that was interesting, that clear disclosure practices for recusals and conflicts of interest in matters involving significant development or financial interests. Like, again, this is beyond what the charter would do.
Those are
Um,
ethics laws in every member. If
Right,
I'm on the ZBA and if one of my
Right.
friends comes up for a thing, I gotta like recuse myself.
right,
I've
exactly.
been in front of other boards and other towns with construction projects,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and hey Sandra gets up, hey, I'm recusing myself.
yeah.
You know, we're
Yeah.
friends, we hang out together. I mean, and she steps aside, he steps aside. I mean, it's
Right.
what it
Yeah.
is.
So I'm not sure
But it's
how,
also, but it would be in the minutes, it would be on the
right,
YouTube.
it would be
like,
on
it
the,
would-
on the
There.
video,
Yeah.
if you watch it on
Documented,
TV,
yeah.
it is documented.
Yeah,
But it would be timely maybe for the, and this is what they're saying,
yeah.
is there a clear, but in a charter, you obviously can't go through every little process.
Yeah,
It's just an outline of the process,
yeah.
which is there for you to find, like, you know what I mean, you know?
Right.
But this is good, yeah, maybe they need to just have like
Yeah,
a,
maybe it's something
this
like
is
the
our- this
select
is
board
the-
could just like
No.
remind all the boards.
Hopefully we can,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
enlighten a lot of people as we've been.
Yeah.
To your point, Sandra, I didn't know a lot of
Right.
stuff either. I'm in the same boat. as you.
right?
Right.
I'll admit it, I didn't know, I don't know.
No, I mean,
I
I-
take for
committees,
granted
yeah.
that everything is going the way it should, so,
Yeah, like, I mean,
you
the,
know.
my big thing is when I first went to that special town meeting,
Mhm.
like I was under the impression like, ooh, something big's going on, and they're trying to like shove something in, because when you call it a special town meeting,
Yeah,
people
yeah,
think, ooh, so this is like,
Shenanigans,
this
yeah.
is like a fast one, like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, what interest is going. But then when I found out the special town meeting basically happened every November, I'm like, it's not so special anymore.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
you know what I mean? I went to the meeting,
yeah.
sat through the meeting, it was a long meeting,
Mm-hmm.
but it allowed me to see
You're like, what's special?
what
about
was
it?
going on in town.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
only till I got to this committee did I realize that was the only thing special about it, is
Yeah.
we just called it a special town meeting instead of calling it a fall
Yeah.
town meeting.
Fall.
Yeah.
That's too funny.
All right, anything else with that email?
Especially you to wear your
No,
sweaters.
I just thank her for,
Yeah.
for such thoughtful
it was.
comments
Yeah,
and
yeah.
taking the time to write it all out. It was,
Yeah.
And I think if I may, I think that some of this could be better, like either whether it's policy, not even bylaw, but policy, kind of look for town administrator to assist in ensuring some of this is more accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because to your
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The process, there's a process, but if you don't know the process, then,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have this other email, I'm not even sure who it's from, it's just not, there's anything here, this is the person that talked about moving towards a town manager model, but we discussed that already.
Yeah.
Obviously, we discussed that in the essence of time here, you know where we're at there, semantics there. This email from Emily Trevelyan, first off, thank you for your work and charter, I'm sure you're undertaking, right time resource, town appreciate your efforts, so it's very nice for her to thank us. One piece of feedback I have is on the timetable of the reviewing this to 10 years versus the 5 years. Again, I believe that's just the law, and that's what Anthony was telling us, so,
Yeah.
you know, that's 5 and 10, 5 the first year and 10 every year, every time after that, so that's that one.
And
Next
if I
one,
may, I think some of this is because a charter really is that constitutional piece, and so it really shouldn't be changed as frequently, need to be changed as frequently as bylaws. So I think that that's kind of some of it also.
yep. Next one up is gentleman George Arab. So he had a pretty lengthy list here, about 10 items or something, I believe it was, or whatever. What residents lose, so the
yeah, that's
summary
probably the-
here, or
yeah.
what residents keep, town meeting, I'm not gonna go what residents keep, because I don't think that's an issue, right? What residents lose, we'll talk about that, just for the essence of
Yeah.
time here. Independent oversight, finance committee can be veto shaped by the select board, committee independent, by the select board, ultimately the select board, you know, the finance committee is just there to advise us at the town meeting on which way to vote.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't see where what, I don't understand what his veto is all about. I mean, as far as putting something on the budget,
Yeah.
I mean, that's between the town administrator and the select board. That's their responsibility, is to put a budget together.
Yeah.
And FinCom makes a comment on it, whether we should vote on it or not, so I don't really see any like veto power. I'm not really sure. I mean, I
Unless
think-
he's talking about the ratification part of it, and I
Yeah,
think that
that's
might be a
confusing.
thing that people didn't understand that was already happening.
That, and also, if I may, I think if the select board chooses to not put an article or something on a warrant that residents feel strongly about, there is an avenue through citizens petition to get, to call a special town meeting. We had that, Clee called a special town meeting to get roads through in I think December or something. So there are avenues if they feel that select board is gatekeeping or something, and there always have been avenues to ensure that residents will have a voice.
Correct. Committee independence, appointed boards and committees become supervised by the TA. I mean, I'm not really sure that they're supervised by them, but
The
Not
TA works
supervised,
for
but
the
I know
select board,
when
though.
we had the 300th committee, I had suggested that to the select board, that they should do pop-ins for some of the naive committees, you know, just to make sure that you're doing everything right, because we were like,
the
We
town
do.
administrator or the select board.
anybody from
The-
town,
yeah.
anybody from town hall.
Organization of town.
Yeah,
But essentially, the town administrator works for the select board, not the other way around.
yeah.
And
To have it be
so,
the TA, that's a bit, that's.
But you elect the select board.
I think they're
You
saying,
don't lose your control because you elect the select board.
this man is saying what we're losing, we've weakened the appointed, and we're making, I think he's thinking we're,
Well, committee independence, he feels like taking independence away from the committees because we have a town administrator, you
No,
know.
No,
No,
It's
the
always
select
been,
board and
yeah.
the town
but we don't
administrator.
elect the town administrator, we elect
Right,
the select board who appoints the committees, so you're not taking
Well,
anything
our-
away. The town administrator is not taking anything away from the select board, and we as voters elect the select board.
And
Yeah.
we as boards are always governed by the
The
select board.
yeah, we
Yeah.
fall under their purview, not the town administrator's purview.
So I don't see that as an issue. Control of the town structure, select board can reorganize, abolish departments, we talked about that, that's in the bylaws, is what, you know, again, major things at a town meeting, but these small little adjustments for budgets and stuff,
Yeah.
it's no problem. Agenda control, select board controls where, when, and how town meeting happens, there's laws dictating that, folks, I mean, come
Yeah.
on, if we're expecting 10,000, you know, all 8,000 people to show up at Glenwood Elementary School, I mean, we're gonna have to move this to the Wachusett High School.
Yeah.
Okay, because that venue is not gonna handle it, so that's all that's talking about, Ted, I think that's just a little bit of, I don't know, I'm not sure what that is. Meaningful participation, a very low quorum, plus weeknight meetings, decisions be very small groups, that's what they've been. We're
But
trying
that's,
to
but
boost
that's
it.
also important, if we raise the quorum, that will hopefully raise
That's
awareness,
what we're trying to,
you know, like,
Yeah.
we want engagement.
yeah, I mean, if we make it much more, we won't be able to get anything voted on.
Yeah, many communities are actually lowering their quorums because they can't start meetings for hours sometimes because they're waiting for quorum. So in my kind of just passing by conversations, the fact that we are raising quorum is people kind of pause and are like, you guys are crazy. But I think what we're hearing is that people want the community to make the decisions. And in order to do that, we need the community to show up to meetings. And so this is a way to put some onus on select board, but also the community to say, hey, you voted for this, now you need to do your part and show up.
Mhm.
Neutral election administration, town clerk becomes appointed and removed by the select board. That was just voted in as a bylaw.
That was, yeah.
So, I mean, we're just gonna let the town continue to do that on a yearly basis. They can change it every dang year if they want to, back and forth.
Why was that decided? Was that just, what was the decision process
It
for
was
that?
because the person.
For town meeting.
For the,
And I think
for
sorry.
town clerk?
yeah, for clerk, that the clerk decision was article on on a town meeting warrant a few years ago. And I believe some of that is just looking at the industry as a whole or communities as a whole. The clerk is one of those positions similar a few years ago, we had changed from an elected treasurer collector to also an appointed / hired treasurer collector. And I think it's just kind of best practice as there's so many more laws and requirements and everything for these positions that that it becomes a hired for position because there are a lot of requirements similar to like right now anybody could run for clerk, right? And
Not be qualified.
exactly. And so
Okay.
this was a way to
Gotcha.
ensure that as Anita transitions out that it's a that we're kind of following best practice in the state and especially as we're a growing community, right? We're not going to get smaller.
Gotcha.
Financial transparency, contracts, long-term obligations, bypass town meeting scrutiny, that's not the case. Future correction, charter review and bylaw cleanup controlled by the select board. That's not the case. I mean,
No.
I'm not really sure how this,
I'm kind of confused by what this gentleman even wants.
yeah, I
Yeah.
just don't agree.
Because it
I just-
seems
it's
almost-
not what he's not reading it correctly, obviously. He's
Because it's like
misunderstood it.
town meeting still exists, but power shifts upward to the select board and town administrator.
That is not,
I mean,
not-
we've
I
had a
didn't even
select
understand
board
that
for
statement,
a
yeah.
million years, like, but I didn't even understand some of this, like neutral election administration, what does that mean? Like, there's nothing partisan about the elections.
red line list
I mean,
clauses.
what the town does, you know what I mean,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
Municipal government is nonpartisan. None of us, when we run for municipal government,
Yeah.
if we're party affiliated, it's not noted on the ballots. We're not
Correct.
run by parties. So at the municipal level. And so I think that's really important and something that I learned as I got involved. You know, we're used to the kind of R's and D's and eyes everywhere else, but municipal government doesn't see any of that at all.
And the charter review and bylaw cleanup controlled by the select board, that's not true as well. Because that would be a new
There's a
charter
new charter
committee to
review committee,
to
that's right.
review, and there's a bylaw
For the charter,
committee,
so.
so it's not reviewed by the select board, it's done by the committee.
We didn't put on.
I mean,
put
the
on-
select
people-
board selects
people vote
every
on it.
committee in town, so.
And any
Yeah.
charter committee
Yeah.
or bylaw committee presents it to the town
But
meeting.
you could
and it gets voted
also,
on by the
if
town.
you're
It's gonna stay
interested
that
in a
way.
committee,
Yeah.
you
So-
can volunteer for a committee
There's
to
a
serve on the
misunderstanding here,
committee.
so.
Does town meeting matter? Yes, but less than it does now. No, we haven't changed anything about town meeting.
Going on to these red line ones, I don't, try not to get caught up too much in these things. All powers possible plus liberal construction in favor of the town. I don't even know what that means, or I couldn't even understand that.
And again, this stuff came from,
Select board can move the town meeting outside, yeah, I mean, that's always been in the bylaw, but it has to be under certain circumstances, it's dictated in the bylaw, that's. And you know what, the town can change that. So if we put something in the charter, then you can't change it every 5 to 10 years. So it's best off just left as a bylaw, and that can be changed every year, as whoever's running this town feels it should be,
Mhm.
you know, so. Extremely low quorum, we increased it. Select board named chief executive officer, that's in the bylaws already, we're just codifying that, that's nothing we changed. Select board can review, create, or reorganize, abolish agencies, we talked about that, sounds like this is like the Doge, you know, going through the town here, I mean, I think everybody needs to relax, it's just, you know, we talked about that. Town administrator's chief HR officer, and
That's what
it's
we
not
have.
that
That's
there's
what
no
we call
independent
it.
oversight, you have the select board and.
do you wanna take public comments? Well, this guy's going on and on and on.
Yeah, sure.
These guys are here. Well, I
Oh,
don't know
yeah,
about
you
Barbara,
definitely-
but Jean, yeah? About the charter?
Yeah, I thought that's what this meeting was for.
It is.
Yeah.
Oh,
It
okay.
is. So we're
But-
going through.
This
the
is one of the
public
emails, yeah,
that
Gotcha,
they-
and I had another meeting, so that's why I've been in
Okay.
and out,
Yeah.
but I have,
I'm sorry, if you
Is
guys.
that okay, unless you wanna
Yeah, no,
keep
let's take any
going on
public
this one,
comment
but
now, we'll cut you loose.
This
You
is
don't have to
easier.
wait.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
okay, so I just went through the whole thing, so I have some highlights with some questions on it. So I'm on the first page, number 2, there are things that the town is not allowed to do under state law, and you might have already talked about this, but I couldn't sit here. But may be permitted by the charter. What things?
I can answer that for you.
Okay, thank you.
So, what a charter can override on state law, municipal government, the type of government that we have, whether we have a select board, a town meeting, a representative town meeting, we're not at that limit yet for mayor, council system. So these are the things that the charter can say versus what the state law says. We can override composition of governing bodies. So if the state law says a committee has to have.
I believe the select board, for instance,
Select board has to
select
have
board
a
is
certain-
5 members,
We can have, the charter can say something different.
could say 3.
But you're not doing that.
We're
No.
not, no.
For
No, but the
instance.
chart, but through the state, you apply, this would go to the state for approval by them. And say, hey, cause I believe Anthony gave us, our lawyer gave this example that there's a town way out west that had so few people in it. Like, we only get 3 people here.
Right, right.
We struggle getting 5 people. Can we just have a 3-person charter in our 300-man town? And they're like, yes, yeah, that's fine. That works for you. Although the law is 5, so.
So I'm just giving you the rundown of what we can override, not that we are overriding it. The charter can determine which offices are elected versus appointed. We haven't changed any of that. Length of terms, the charter could say something different than state law. We haven't changed any of that. That's in state law already. Vacancies, how they're filled, what we do in temporary situations. We can change that. We haven't done it.
Not done that.
Powers and duties of local officials, the authorities of the select board, the mayor, the town manager, the council, or the committees. State law might say something, the charter can say something else. It doesn't apply to us in this case.
So are there any things that
That
you
we're
are?
changing?
That
so the-
overriding state law,
yeah.
Ron? No.
So the charter,
This charter has no overrides for any state
so
laws.
the ability to override is not really relevant. You're not using
No.
that ability.
Charter
Okay.
can, But this charter
Eventually,
does not.
eventually.
And-
It's the first
there you
one,
go.
we're not
but-
there yet.
Right.
It's all part of our plot though for Sandra to
I
take
would
over
like
the
to
whole world here.
override this.
Pretty soon, everybody's tax is gonna write the sign, she's
So,
gonna pull
I-
it
can
out.
we override how they,
No.
they pay us for the schools?
No.
That's-
Yeah,
So
right?
these are the things, I'll tell you the things the charter cannot override. Property tax limits, civil rights laws, state zoning acts, open meeting laws, public record laws, and those are things that remain binding on all municipalities. The
Everything
charter
alone.
cannot
Summa
change it.
cum
I
laude.
knew you were coming,
charter
and I knew you were
committee.
gonna ask, so I researched this just for you.
All right,
But this
that's
isn't,
pretty funny.
No,
Yeah.
and
Um,
other people, cause other people have asked it, so last night
Yeah.
I did
Right,
research
Richard.
it, and I was like, I gotta look it all up, because people ask it all the
Richard
time.
has a comment, go ahead.
but
Yes,
this exchange, we need to like re-present that to the town.
Yeah.
It's really not trivial to say that a charter can override this, but for us,
It
in this
does
charter,
not.
it did not.
did
Yeah.
not.
So
So-
therefore,
I don't know if the
anything
latter point
that
that
you're
you just made,
discovering or stumbling
we
on
cannot
in the
do
charter
this,
already
this,
exists
yes.
in the towns already approved by, like, things
Yeah.
that we're now familiar with, that 70% of the town, maybe that's too high of a
You're
number,
being
is
conservative.
not
Nice.
privy to.
So,
Right,
because
so-
it's
The
listed
last,
as,
the last point that Michelle made, that's the meat of
Right,
what people are like.
Right,
"Ugh."
No,
But to
which I
Richard's
get
point,
if you don't know,
people-
yeah.
People hear this thing
Yeah,
can change
yeah.
and their fears, their worst fears consume them.
Right.
And
Right.
Yeah.
this charter, and just keep in mind, even if this charter did say something like that,
Yeah.
we have to point that out to you, okay?
Yeah.
And then that has to get voted on
Yeah.
at the town
Yeah.
meeting.
Right.
So unless
so,
all of you want Sandra to get all of your tax revenue,
Right.
you will have to vote
I'll
on that at some
redistribute
time.
it, I'll redistribute, I
Right.
promise.
so the flexibility, the three main benefits that you get from a charter, flexibility is one of them, but we're not using it. Basically, that's that piece.
Well,
We
I
did
guess, yeah,
change
sure.
what we, like, I
We're not
guess,
not using it.
it's not
It's really
changing mass general
stability
law, but we
that's
did
helping us.
change the planning board,
Yeah, but that's not state law.
that's not a state law,
So,
yeah.
but it's,
Yes,
what
to
we're
answer your question,
saying,
yes.
yes.
It's
Okay,
that simple,
alright.
yeah.
like,
So
down
next-
the road, the town could say, you know, in 10 years when they review this.
Yeah.
We wanna change our form of government and this is what we wanna go to. So the charter gives the town the flexibility to do
Okay.
that.
Gotcha.
Right
Mhm.
now, the way I'm understanding why we started this now is that the town is at a point where we're growing. We're not getting smaller, we're only growing. And we want to codify these things
Mhm.
on paper now so that when things start to change, when we review it in 10 years, we already have this basis. We don't have to start from scratch or
Mhm.
somebody doesn't have
guideline
to
for
start from
later,
scratch.
yeah.
They can then just take what's already here, do the changes that they want to change. If the town wants to change,
Mhm.
we have the flexibility to do that.
Okay. It can, so that's the next thing, it can only be changed by going through the process of submitting a special act or following home rule. So what is a special act, how does that happen?
Home rule amendment to the Constitution. I read your mind, Jean. So the special acts is just what we're doing here. We're doing a special act. The special act was,
It's similar to filing a bylaw.
yeah.
Mhm.
When you go to the state, you
Yeah,
file, like, you know how right now when we change a bylaw, after the town votes on it, it goes to the state to be approved? A special act is very similar. I do not know if the town votes on that before it goes to the state, or if there's,
It does, it does.
it does, okay.
It still has to go through a town meeting and,
Okay.
like we have a special act to recall the elected officials that's with the state right now.
Okay,
And that went to town meeting, in May. The town meeting approved it, then it gets moved to the state and same with moving from the town clerk from an elected to appointed, that was a special act, or I think it was a special act, so that's again something that goes through, it has to get, pretty much everything has to get approved at town meeting before it moves forward.
and
So
think of
same
this
with
on
the
a,
charter.
on a
but-
scale, just think like, this charter is like it's like the top level, like you have a state law, charter, a bylaw, then special acts come below those. So technically, I believe in the state law, that's the way the strength of them are perceived, like which one overrules the other, if there's a conflict, you know, on an act, a bylaw would overrule an act. You know, a charter overrules a bylaw, state law overrules the charter unless you've gotten it approved on one of those, you know, special.
Sounds like rock, paper, scissors.
It is a little bit.
Sounds
Um,
like government.
Okay, on, the next page under definitions, working days or business days, which are pretty important, are Fridays gonna be excluded?
Oh.
It's not up to the charter, I don't think.
Not the charter.
Well,
They work half days here now, right?
I thought they're closed on Fridays.
They're not open, but they're there,
I thought they were open till
is my
noontime.
understanding.
They don't have they don't have hours, they don't have open to the public hours. They may meet with the public if there's appointments or schedules. And most staff, depends on their work schedule and their hours, most staff is working on to some capacity on Fridays. They just may not be public facing.
So that will continue to count then as a business day? I mean, just be,
I believe business days are generally considered to be Monday through Friday unless it's a holiday, yes.
that's kind of what I was asking, okay.
And that's, you know, not to be, like, I mean, it's a good question, but the charter doesn't wanna get that deep into the weeds.
No,
You
but
don't want your
it
charter, like,
defined,
dictating,
it talked
yeah.
about business
Sure,
days, and
no, I understand.
I'm just thinking about how hard it is to get an agenda 48 hours before when you can't use Fridays as one of the days, because it's not a working day,
Yeah.
I'm told. We have to put it in on Thursday for a Tuesday meeting.
I don't
So
think the
that's
charter.
why I asked
yeah,
that
I don't think
question.
this changes any of that.
No.
I don't,
So really, that shouldn't be the case from what Leah's saying. So Leah's saying Friday is a working day, so,
Yeah.
I don't think that's,
Again, that's
Maybe
really
that's
not
something to
part of
bring
this
up,
charter.
yeah, that's,
That would be
That's
that
a
would be a
different
town clerk
issue.
thing.
Yeah.
That would be a town clerk thing. I can jot a note down and ask the town administrator about it. But
So,
yeah, that's town clerk. They currently are the only ones that post. So
right, and, okay. Secret ballot. Don't we already have secret ballots with the clickers?
surprisingly.
What do you mean, they're not secret?
Yes, we have a secret ballot with the clickers.
No, the clickers are not secret. Remember, the clickers are not secret.
Because
They
you
they
have to sign
regis-
them out.
And they can then go
Trace the vote.
and see who voted, because if you want to recall a vote, something like that. So the clickers are not secret ballot. You can request secret ballot. There were provisions for requesting.
Right, I saw that. Any member of town meeting may move that a vote be taken by secret ballot. So using the clicker would not be the way to make it a secret ballot.
Nope.
Technically not,
Paper.
just because you can track through who's done it, but it's, you gotta work for it.
But if they have to,
also, I think
Paper,
with the
but then-
clickers,
Yeah.
I think it was and I don't know for sure. I can inquire about this. I believe the clickers, in order for the public to find out who voted, I think it needs to be
Needs to be a big,
public information request or something of that nature. And Gina, I don't know if you were in town before the clickers. We literally had a pink card that you would hold up for your vote, so everybody could see how everybody was voting in real time.
Yeah, no,
Now-
I'm aware of that. I wasn't here for it.
This is not, well, the
It's in a
clickers are
day
not
and
a
a day.
secret, a
It's day,
technically
day.
legal
Secret.
secret ballot.
but you
It does
can't see
give
how
you the
somebody's voting.
anonymity of what you're voting on.
Just clicking.
As we all know, workers in town from some major builders have had to vote a certain way because they're watching them. I've talked to school teachers who feel they have to vote a certain way because certain people there are watching them.
Right.
So it gives them that privacy to vote so that they're not wide open and their vote's not publicly known to somebody who could maybe use that against them in some sort of way or fashion.
Certainly.
That's
So
really sad.
I don't know that it's ultimately a secret ballot, but it certainly makes you feel comfortable enough to have a vote and move along, so.
Randy said there's a reason, like they can go back and trace it if they have to, because of like.
But I don't
when
think
you
we've
have to
ever
do-
done it.
No, if
Yeah,
like
yeah.
somebody wants to recall the vote, I
Right.
forget the process was, they can see how you voted on the first vote to see if you're allowed to recall the second vote, whatever. So it's not secret, but it's private.
Are they writing down the clicker number next to
Yes,
people's
yes.
names?
Yeah,
Oh,
Yes.
that was what
When
they
you
said,
check it,
yeah.
That I knew, but I thought it was.
So that they get them back, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that it?
So really now,
So-
if you wanted to be secret, you would not use the clickers.
Right,
Right,
everybody
you'd
put
have
your
to
head
actually
down,
a
raise your
secret.
hand.
You would
It's-
have
That
to
would
do
We've
have
been
to
using
be
them, it's
the-
been working pretty well, so
Paper
again, I
ballot, you
don't
would
think
have to go to a.
there's any, I mean, us talking about it's probably gonna make it worse than it has been
What
in the
did he
last
say?
3
Yeah,
years.
what did he
so.
say? You would have to go to a paper and we would put it in a box.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, then it says,
Which, excuse me, adds tremendous amount of time to the town meetings.
Yeah,
Tremendous.
I've
Yeah.
heard.
And so, which can be
A bear.
good or
can,
bad,
well,
yeah,
it can actually be a political effect to the meeting as well.
right. Cause
And I
if you
think
That's
leave,
not just making people miserable, it can actually sway outcomes the way you wear people down, so.
And the only one that has access to it, I believe, is
Town
Anita.
moderator.
Not the town
No, not
moderator,
town.
I think it was the town clerk.
Oh.
So I think that's what he had said.
And even a paper ballot can be used against people because you go into work the next weekend and or the next week and your boss says, okay, let me see your other half to your paper ballot. And if it's the wrong one,
yeah,
Whoa.
thought it was America.
yeah, I've heard of
you
that.
know?
I've heard of that happening.
Anything else you have?
Yes. If no report is made at town, is it talking about reports at town meeting, but I don't see committees giving reports at town meeting, so I'm kinda confused.
So basically,
Presented in the,
excuse
sorry,
me,
it's
excuse me one minute.
presented in the,
So if you're there for the town meeting, if you're presenting something on the warrant, you're putting one of the articles, I'm a DPW guy and I want a new dump truck. You need to be there to explain, to answer questions about why you feel you need a new dump truck. All right,
Oh, I don't think that's that one. I
Oh,
think
is that
she's-
that one?
No, I think
No,
she's
I think Leah was
211.
gonna answer it though.
211, 211.
I'm sorry.
the reports are in the annual town meeting. There's been a push in the past couple years to have FinCom give a report to the town, kind of, this is the financial status of the town from the previous year, looking forward this year, as well as going forward. FinCom has not done that historically. There's a big push to get them to do that, but generally it's the reports that are in the annual town report that are not verbally heard. And many towns have their FinCom give a brief report, but other than that, it's not all the boards and committees giving reports.
Are there any other committees other than FinCom that's created by town meeting?
I know.
Cause so
There,
this is really only talking about FinCom then.
I mean, I think there's other boards and committees that were established at town meeting, but not, like, I believe RDIC was established at town meeting. I believe planning board was established at town meeting. There are a number that have been
Okay, yeah.
established at town meeting, but again, those reports are in the annual report, and not, best practice is not to be verbally heard at town meeting.
Yeah, no
Again, it
reason,
would
for time,
increase the length, right?
for the sake of time, sure.
Okay, under powers, number 3, the board or its designee shall appoint as town accountant, fire chief, treasurer, collector. Does the TA do that or does the board?
So it's the board's responsibility, however, they can delegate some of these to the town administrator.
So should the town administrator be on that list, that's who they appoint? The board or designee shall appoint a town administrator?
That's number 1 on the.
Oh, got it, okay. And then the others they can designate, okay. And then in 5C, so it goes to the next page. And maybe this is somewhere else. The board or designee may create, reorganize, consolidate, abolish, agency, department, blah, blah, blah. Should committees be added to that list?
So where are we? Say again? Under 3.5?
3.5C, the board or its designee may create, reorganize, consolidate, or abolish any agency, department, or office except as otherwise prohibited by general laws by the town administrator.
It falls somewhere else. It falls
Yeah,
under,
it's probably somewhere.
the board shall be the appointing authority for members of the non-elected committees under, that's number 4, on 4A.
Okay,
And so they're the appointing authority, so they can
Gotcha.
take away the authority.
else you have?
I'm just going through it to my notes.
Do we have anything else on the agenda?
Yeah. Nothing much, I'll just, review for the joint select board. I believe the meeting, this agenda is incorrect, so while she's working on that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Richard. Prepare for joint meeting with select board on March 16th, but it's gonna be March 30th, okay?
with the select board.
With the select board, so if anybody, you're welcome to come, but I don't wanna put you through misery. They had a bunch of other people ahead of us.
Oh, yeah,
Oh, do they have people ahead of us?
They,
that do?
well, on the 16th, they had a big, long, drawn-out thing that was first, so you're gonna have to wait around. And,
So we're going on the third.
yeah, I said, as long as it doesn't hurt us, as long as we can still get on the warrant, so.
No,
They
I'll
said
go.
yeah, they said yeah, so.
I'm happy to go, yeah.
I'm trying to get, some feedback from the select board and
Schedule only goes till the
the,
28th.
the town council, so that we can review this here.
Yeah.
So that at least, we're prepared and, we're ready to discuss, this can be a brief thing, or,
Yeah.
we can have a response prepared to review with them in person, so that it
Yeah.
goes a little more effectively,
Yeah.
and efficiently, so.
Yeah.
That's kind of what that's gonna be about,
Yeah.
okay?
Thank you. That was the one.
That was
we
it?
You're
did.
very welcome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you
Thanks, Jane.
for your interest. We appreciate it very much.
your
Thanks.
efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Got it. Alright.
And then
This is for you,
would
Brian.
it be useful either at a future charter meeting, not that we have many left, but maybe to separately sit down with Anita and then with some of their concerns that they laid out? Because I feel like that was in a different category of feedback. Cause they raise concerns with timing of the fall meeting and logistics, and they're doing all the work on the ground, so they know better than anyone. So I'm wondering if we wanna have a discussion with them or schedule a meeting with them. Cause we'd want them to be on board with this before this becomes, goes on the warrant, is my opinion.
For who?
Anita and Ben
Yeah, cause they had a
in
lot
the
of
town office,
feedback.
cause I feel like that's its own beast. And I want, out of respect for them and,
I'll be honest, I personally don't have an opinion on that, cause I haven't read their comments yet.
yeah, I haven't gone
To be
through it
honest with you.
thoroughly.
I haven't
This is
read
how it's-
them all
For which
either.
ones?
For Ben and Anita.
Yeah,
They're,
they had
No,
a
I read
separate,
'em. I read what you had sent in
Yeah,
the
but they-
synopsis
They have
blurb, but
right, but
they had a
their-
lot more.
so
Well-
there is a printout of them.
So we were on this gentleman, Greg, do you wanna just finish this guy?
Oh, yeah.
And George or whatever it was, and then, if
Yeah.
we have time, and then maybe to your point, we can hold a separate meeting.
Yeah,
and
I
invite them.
almost wonder
And-
if we
and
wanna
we'll
hold
see.
that off.
If we get,
If we get
what time do you
through
guys
each-
wanna stay tonight till? It's 8 now, so I'm just trying to keep things.
Cause
hustling.
I need to go pretty soon,
Yeah.
but if,
Yeah.
so, but out of respect for maybe.
Cause I think this is the last town person.
Yeah.
I think after this
Yeah.
gentleman, it's just,
Right.
it's just those two.
Okay,
So that we can discuss that
Yeah,
and
yeah.
see if there's anything else that's informal in this.
Yeah.
So I was like down in the middle of the red line thing here, town administrator's chief.
Yeah.
Chief,
You hit the HR as chief
That's-
HR officer. I
that's what
think
they
that was
are.
where you left off.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, that's what we want him to be, I mean, that's kinda what he does, what he or she does.
Yeah.
Administrator can investigate any board without official notice, I mean, it's not like they're the, Gestapo going after me, it's
Right.
just to look into things. Finance committee appoints subject to select board,
It's always been that way.
I don't understand what that even means, veto.
Finance
I-
committee appoints subject to.
I honestly don't
Select board.
It
understand.
doesn't say
Yeah,
anywhere,
right.
it doesn't say veto in the bylaw, but it does say if they don't agree with the person, that's all it says. No.
And it's always been that way.
Right, but it's a bylaw, so that's got nothing to do with, the charter.
Well, it's in the charter now.
So,
The 9 and 10 we
Right, right,
talked
right, but
about,
like,
Yeah.
it's nothing to change, cause it's a
Right,
bylaw.
it's been
and 9 and 10 we've talked about, that's the way it is, that's what's staying.
Yep.
Top 10 provisions to fix before adoption. Low town meeting quorum, select board to recognize the boss departments, finance committee, select board ratification.
yeah,
I just,
that's
is there
kind of
any
like
other,
happening.
is there anything else you guys wanna discuss? 'Cause there's
no,
really nothing
to be honest,
I
it
wanna
kind of
discuss, yeah.
reads like a conspiracy thing, and you know what? They actually, the town does have control over it because
There's
they
checks
have
and
to,
balances, yeah.
they have to vote it in. So this charter, I mean, honestly, it doesn't material change anything the way the town has been running up until this point,
Right.
and it doesn't give anybody more or less power,
me.
bless
That's
you.
fine.
That's,
So if he doesn't like, unfortunately, I hate to say it, but if he doesn't like it, don't vote for it.
Yeah.
That's,
Yeah.
That's his option.
that's his option, as
But
it
I-
is with
but-
every
But-
town
and I-
person.
And I think a lot of the things that he's touching on are things that already happen in the town that we did
Yeah,
not,
yeah.
add in here,
Yeah.
so
Right,
it's
Yeah.
it's possible that he just didn't understand that, these things were already happening.
Okay, so,
recall thresholds are so high.
so I got an email here, and this is from Anita. And, the first item here is as you were talking about the November third. So November third and changing November meeting to. So right now, I have discussed and changed how the meeting held on the second Thursday of November is extremely problematic for our office. There's a state election on Tuesday, November third. Changing,
This is interesting to me because currently, the past few years anyway, it's been the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And so I'm not sure, because generally the third Thanksgiving is the third Thursday of the month, right? Or am I third or fourth, I guess?
Fourth, I think
Thanksgiving's
it's
the
last,
fourth.
yeah.
Yeah, the fourth Thursday.
But it
of
says,
month.
but it also says, or on such date may be scheduled by the select board.
Yeah,
So
so
it's, you know, if there's elections and stuff going on, then obviously you're not gonna do it that day.
Do we always
And
have
then
a
it
November election
states-
year?
No,
yeah, I mean, since I've been on the board, we've
every year?
had,
Not every
Not
year.
necessarily.
not every year, no.
oh no,
But then
it's
it,
every
but
2
it says,
years usually.
it says,
Yeah.
or on such date may be scheduled by the select board. Like it says it.
Where is the,
Right.
what
So,
section of the
so,
thing?
so Leah, they were doing them,
Oh, I don't.
so you telling me that
That
la-
one
in
right
years
there.
past, they did them on the Thursday before Thanksgiving?
Time
Is
of
that what they've
meeting.
done?
Yeah, in the recent
four.
past, that's when it's always been
All
as the
annual
Thursday,
shall
and I,
be held on the second
has-
Thursday of November.
Do you
and
wanna
the
change it to
Thurs-
that? Well, you wanna put that
trying-
date, excuse me, do we wanna put that date in there? And then just leave it as the selectmen can change it as needed? Cause then you can just
would say-
discuss with these people and do what you wanna do.
But what date?
right, I would say Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Thursday
for the
before
week.
Thanksgiving.
So third Thursday of November or on such other date as may be scheduled by the select board. We can absolutely change
Yeah,
that.
We,
yeah.
we put in the,
We put in second because we get low turnout on the third, but this
Yeah.
way it seemed a little, but third.
I
I
mean,
think
that's what
that's
they're
what,
doing.
I think they were trying, I think
That's
that's
what they're doing. If
the
they're getting a good
rationale.
enough turnout to that, then that's great. We didn't want it to be too close to the holidays for
Yeah.
people traveling, but the week before is not that bad. Everybody's usually around.
Yeah, and if it works better
But
for
again,
a
but
town
still,
clerk,
or
then
on
yeah.
such
Thanksgiving's
other
not that
date.
like, it's not like Christmas where you're doing a ton of crap before you
Yeah.
go in there, you know?
So we need to change that.
Well, you've never
Third.
cooked Thanksgiving dinner, Chris.
Oh, I actually do.
Oh.
Actually
See
do.
the.
You
But
gotta
I
clean your
can't lie.
baseboards for those family, you know?
Yeah, but everybody's gonna look at your basement.
I don't do that though.
Just
Yeah,
don't
my
look
wife
up,
gets all the
don't look
food.
up,
I just
that's
do the
all.
cooking, she
Don't look
shops.
at the
Look down,
corners.
don't look up.
Alright, so we'll just give them the third Thursday. I don't think that's a problem.
No,
No.
right,
And then, but, and still leave the caveat in that they can, you know,
Yeah, yeah.
shift it on the
Right,
fly,
right,
Yeah,
yeah,
alright?
yep, okay.
So we'll make that change. Michelle, are you making these changes in this charter?
Am I making up?
I'm just, no, seriously, I'm just.
Oh, I just,
I made a big circle
yeah, I
on
just
it.
crossed it
Is
out.
that something you wanna?
I sure will.
Thank
Yep,
you.
I will do that. I don't know what other ones that we've looked at, but
And
this is
that's-
the only one that we're
that's
actually changing at the
section
point.
2
2,
for-
2-4, time of meeting, B.
Yep.
2-4B.
2-4B, yeah.
I wonder if I can change that.
In light of some feedback received, okay. Okay,
And then, 2-6 quorum, we see no need to increase the quorum for annual town meeting for the voters. Again, I think we beat this to a dead horse, yeah, I think we leave it.
Yeah, and it
Yeah.
was only, it's only 30 for the, cause they cited a November meeting, it's only 30 for the November meeting, correct?
Correct, and they're not, yeah,
So
so I'm
and,
not sure
and,
she's,
and 8 voters was not really
Yeah.
a huge amount off, to be honest, like, so I think.
But it's
at
gonna
least-
be 50 for both of them now.
no,
right?
it's
No,
30
it's,
and 50.
it's gonna be 50 for the May and
30
30
for
for
the-
the,
for the-
for the November, right?
Yep,
Oh,
correct,
it was like, okay.
it's 30 and 50.
So 42 would have
No,
made a,
that's not what we're saying. though.
oh,
I
We
thought it
have
was 50
50
altogether.
because we're calling them both
Oh, that's
annual town
correct.
meetings. It
Yeah,
would be
you're correct.
30 for a,
Oh, special,
Special.
yeah. for a
okay,
special
gotcha,
town
okay,
meeting.
gotcha, okay.
I didn't think that was our intent, folks.
I thought it
Oh, I
was
did.
like the
I did
annual
not think
town
that was our
meetings.
intent.
Town meetings would be 50 and specials would be 30.
And specials would be 30, that's what I thought too.
I gotta be honest with you, I thought it was 30 and 50. And I thought that's what, the way we,
I thought it was too, but I could.
because
be
we were
wrong.
bumping both of them up. The other one was like 15 and
Right,
30,
but that's what I'm
wasn't
saying, I thought it was
so I just don't,
annuals are 50 and special would be 30.
I hear what you're saying. I'm just
Yeah.
saying that when we were considering the fall one,
Oh, I
we
gotcha.
were just gonna keep that as, you know, this, but again, that's my opinion. But I don't really care.
I think, yeah, I still say 50 because then,
Right, because,
hopefully it'll engage more.
well, and because of
Well,
what
not-
Leah was saying, like, when you get to select board, the
You got
people that
about
have
30
to be
people.
there, you're already
20,
like
yeah.
almost
30 right
at,
there.
and then
Yeah, yeah.
you're deciding
Was it
matters
28
with,
people?
yeah,
Yeah.
you're
I don't
deciding
really have an
matters with
issue.
only like a couple
8
people.
voters shy is not a huge, I think, obstacle. That's a couple of years ago.
Mhm.
I mean, I don't know what the data was from the last 2 November town meetings, so like that
Well,
would
she's
be,
42, she said last year.
no, that's 2023.
Okay.
So what happened 2024, 2025? I know 2024, there was a lot of people, because I went to that
I
one.
do too, yeah.
And I think as time builds, it's gonna become more of a, I gotta be honest with you, special time meeting. I only learned about that a few years ago.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I didn't even know those things existed.
yeah.
Yeah,
And, God, you only went to that thing if it was something you were on the hook for.
yeah.
I think because if we're calling the November annual, I think we need to set the quorum the same for all annuals because
Yeah.
some of the
Oh, yeah.
there is that oh you're using the special fall town meeting to do things that you don't want
Yeah.
people to know
Shenanigans.
about. Where now part of calling them annuals is so we can cover other business that can only be done at annuals, but also to put some legitimacy behind that. That hey, this is just as important. The business that happens at this one is just as important as the business that happens in May, and so I think whatever we decide, we need to have the same number for both of those annual meetings.
You know what, the people that there got some stake in it, they're gonna bring out the votes.
Yeah.
You can say, yeah, I gotta get 50, so now they're gonna know. You know what? That's not a bad thing for this town, obviously, as we're seeing. People
Yeah.
be engaged.
Yeah.
So, so we're all in agreement to leave that, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
Terrific. 210, secret ballot, it's covered in our general bylaws, so I'm not sure why there's a singled out here, perhaps a mention of the use of the Meridia voting clickers should be mentioned. Again, we discussed that, but we don't wanna get that finite.
Right. Because
So I
we're
think,
all
I think we've got that covered, you know. Section 4.5 planning board, I do see some pros and cons, again, the 5 to 3. Folks, I'm gonna dig in on the 3 personally. At first, I wasn't really concerned, but, you know, you get locked in with someone you don't want there.
That's
That's
what
a
I'm
long
saying.
time.
In the
Yeah.
planning
It's a
board,
long 5
Yeah.
years.
in,
Like,
in the
come
planning
on.
board, she's citing
if
the
the
planning
person's
board.
Nobody
Nobody
else
else holds a
then they can-
position that
they-
long.
But the planning board was on board with going to 3 years.
Yeah,
Yeah,
weren't-
They were
were
indifferent. They
Yeah.
were,
They were
they were,
different,
they were
But they
indifferent,
didn't
so.
strongly
5 years
oppose.
is a
Yeah.
long
And we have
time.
a town planner now.
Yeah.
Who should, their
Actually, we don't
job,
have one this year, though. I don't think we've
had one.
We
have,
don't. We
They left, but I'm just saying, in general, we've
right,
had
in
one over the last 4 or
general,
5
yeah,
years. And that's their
exactly.
job to get these people up to speed.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep. I just think 3 is better. You're gonna get different blood. You might get,
But you can run again,
yeah, exactly, exactly.
and if nobody else runs, you're on it for another 3 years.
I think we just leave that as it is.
Yep,
We're all in favor of that?
yep.
Yeah.
9.2 ballot position, we see no
And
need
if
to
it's
change.
that difficult to get people caught up, then have a book, come up with a manual, like something, teach people how to look stuff up. Sorry.
Well, they do mention in here about an associate member, but again, that's on their level. If they wanna bring in associate members,
Yeah.
Mhm.
a
And they
lot of
have
boards do that.
Yeah.
Okay, before you get on the board of trustees somewhere, you're on as an
Yeah.
associate.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
feeling you out, you're feeling it out.
Right,
Yeah, but
No,
that's-
it's
And the
That's how
planning
we
board
evolve
does
it.
have an
That's the-
associate
yeah,
already.
So
Yeah,
they do.
yeah.
Yeah, they do,
So-
yep.
So the ballot position,
I don't even know.
this
I
is
didn't
about, this
understand-
is about the position on the
I
ballot.
don't even
I
remember
didn't
discussing it, to be
understand
honest.
this. I do,
This
we
was-
said leave it, so don't do it alphabetical, like,
Yeah.
cause
It
then
was
people,
supposed to be a
We were doing it
drawing.
alphabetically before.
it keeps it,
Now it's a random draw, but that's a process. And you know what? I got not a soft spot. I hate bureaucracy. I
mhm,
hate more processes that need to be done in something.
mhm.
Yeah.
how bad is this broken? Do we really need to fix
Right.
it?
Well,
Yeah.
I
I'll
think
just throw that out
the way
Well, wasn't it that we asked, didn't we ask what the process was?
we did ask.
And
we
we
because
didn't,
of this.
Well,
They
So-
did say they preferred this process that was existing.
okay.
They did say
Oh,
that.
they did,
They
okay,
did. They
okay.
did not want to change it to this process.
Okay,
Incumbents
So
will
this
be
is in
listed
concert
with
with
their
what you said
name,
before.
okay.
their name after, we did say it doesn't actually have to add, it doesn't have to be like a publicized public thing.
Right.
If they know that at 5 o'clock on the last day, they just have to draw those 10 names out and say, this is the way
Well,
they
it does have
go.
to be a transparent process, Michelle, I would feel.
No, I
Like,
understand, but
if I'm
they-
one of those people, I wanna see this done.
Yes, but
Now,
you.
I'm a working person, they're working people, that's not, I gotta be honest with you, it's very hard for me to get to this town between 7 and 5 o'clock.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 6 to 6, I'm not in this town.
Mm-hmm.
So if I was running for election, I gotta leave work early and go to this process. They gotta coordinate that with you,
Mhm.
you know, everybody else. Like, I understand where she's coming
Yeah.
from.
Yeah,
if I may, I think that this was one of the things that kind of best practice along not just municipal but just election transparency in general has been pushing to have even the listing of candidates be as spontaneous arbitrary as possible. We did say about noting if they were an incumbent or not, but and I don't love the idea of another process, but if they know at 5 o'clock that people have until 5 o'clock to designate when they're withdrawing or not, then just at 5:01 you're doing that drawing, and if you or a representative of your people can be there, then great, and maybe they figure out a way to live stream it. Like I,
The
I,
lottery.
I
yeah.
yeah, I
Well,
mean,
yeah.
yeah, but I think like it doesn't have to be just that by 5 o'clock on whatever day that's when it's going to be done, and if you're saying that you have it set to go right after the withdrawals, then being in this process shouldn't be that much more of a hoop. I mean, I understand that it's an additional amount an additional thing to do, but for the transparency um and everything, I don't know. It's not a hill I'm willing to die on, but I do think that in the scheme of best practices of elections, not so much for municipal but in general, it's an important consideration.
Leah, could this be something that would be changeable via a bylaw in the future if we kept it as is?
I mean, I can ask town council if this is something that my understanding from Anthony and Becca was something of this nature was appropriate at the charter level, but I'm not 100% sure. So
Yeah.
I can ask council on.
My
So if
my vote on this is to keep it as is.
Say
To-
what?
to keep
The
what?
process
change
or
the
keep
by-
it in the
to-
charter?
No, to keep the process that we've had it as is, alphabetical.
Okay, all right,
In the
thank you.
town.
All right,
That's
that's
my
good.
vote.
That we've,
So that would mean we would change what's in the
So
charter.
he's saying
Okay.
we take this
Right,
out of
right,
the
right.
charter, out of the proposed charter.
I will say, as someone who had a W last name and someone who now has a C last name, alphabetical order matters a lot more if you're a W than it does if you're a C.
Yeah.
I went from an
It's true.
F to a T and I'm so mad
It-
about
it-
it,
yeah.
yeah.
So
Well, it depends on how many names are listed. If there are
Right.
two,
then, but you know what I'm saying, like,
Yeah.
people go through that ballot
Depends
and
what
they,
gender the missile,
and
it's gonna hit the ship at.
like,
Yeah.
there are studies that have been done that the higher you are on the ballot, the more votes you get.
Well,
So,
that might be true, yeah.
It's lazy, yeah, it's lazy
because people just
like,
go
yeah,
check,
it's
check,
whatever,
check, check,
I don't
check.
care, I don't
right,
know,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's if they vote at all.
I have a hard time on this, like,
yeah. Incumbents get more votes than,
Well, that's-
because
That's still
people-
gonna be listed.
right,
We've
it'd
got
still
that
be
in.
listed.
Yeah, yeah.
So,
I mean,
I just
I-
like
I
random,
don't-
I
I
like
mean-
random, cause random keeps it even Steven for everybody, but.
I know that we said in the charter, the wording is that
it's great. Something like this, I love it.
the next business day following the last day of withdrawals. So can they, if that time is not good for them, can they,
You said somebody, anybody.
like,
Yeah.
no, but
Said
I'm
a
saying,
friend.
the withdrawal date, can the town clerk change the withdrawal date to a date that's more amenable to them?
I think it's really just a matter of like, if you can make it, you can make it, but it's getting done that day and that time.
No, but I think what
Well, that's what,
Anita's
yeah,
saying
I
in
don't,
her-
if you
Transparent, 'cause everybody
can't,
knows
if
when it's
you
gonna
can't
be.
make it, you knew when it was gonna be, you didn't show
Exactly,
up, that's
Sandra.
on you.
Yeah, if you can't send a
That's,
friend to cover
that's
for
how
you.
I took this anyway, like,
Yeah.
why, it doesn't
No,
say
but-
you have to be there.
Exactly, but
It says
what's,
what the process is, if you get there, great, if you
Correct.
don't, so sad.
but what
too bad.
Anita
So-
is saying is that the withdrawal date is on a certain day and they send their ballots that night, okay? But what we wrote in the charter is that conducted by the town clerk on the next business day following that last day of withdrawals. So we're
if I-
adding an extra
So if our
day.
time frame is wrong, fix the time frame. But I would say,
Like, can
the
the
randomness.
withdrawal date, is that a state law date or is that just? a-
I think that that's state law.
Okay,
And I think that we could, like, I am perfectly okay with at 5:01 if they hold the lottery, that it's just known that it's, and maybe this goes in the bylaw, that immediately following the close of the withdrawal period, the lottery is held or something along that line. And that
Yeah.
just, they can hold the lottery at that night. Everybody knows the withdrawal date is whatever time, anybody that's running knows that. And
mhm.
5:01 or whatever, the lottery's going to happen, and if you or a representative, friend, family, whatever can't make it, then that's on you. Like, it's going to happen, but we can't schedule government around everybody's schedules, unfortunately. But be able to provide all candidates the most fair opportunity on the ballot. I think that this is the way to go.
I,
Even still, she's still saying it's gonna add an extra 24 hours,
But we
but.
She
can
doesn't say
change-
what that's gonna do to the
But I'm a
process.
jerk though, cause I'm
And
like,
you
well,
have
if you
5
already know
weeks
that,
before
then you already know it, so.
but it sounds like they have to get them to the vendor.
But I don't think that it will if they hold the lottery as soon as at 5, like I said, on the evening that the withdrawal period closes.
Right.
Say it's 5:05 that night, they do the lottery, they can still get the ballot out to
Yeah.
the vendor.
I'm assuming they prepare the ballots in advance and
Yeah,
just delete who has to be deleted, but.
but then
So-
that's what
so
it is
excuse me
though,
real
yeah,
quick.
that's
Let's-
open to the
excuse me,
public, would
excuse me,
delay
pardon me.
everything.
Richard's leaving, I just wanna,
See if
do we
we
wanna
can-
have it, Richard, are you available for another meeting
When?
this month?
Depending on the day, maybe.
Okay,
Yeah, but
Is it-
I'll do my best depending on the schedule.
okay.
Yeah.
Alright,
Yeah, do you wanna take it up at another meeting? I'm happy.
yeah, I just don't think we're gonna get through all this tonight, and, maybe some fresh ears and eyes on this to continue this with this.
I think that's the only, their last thing. I think that's the last thing.
No, there was,
No, I mean,
they
they got a
have
few more
something about the move.
Transition,
yeah.
bylaw review, disposition of certain laws.
Sorry, okay, never mind.
So, I mean,
It's just 3 more, but it's, yeah.
it's,
But we've already really talked about the other thing, transition to appointed clerk, it has to be in there because it goes
yeah, I
out
mean, it's a
and-
moot point to their office, but it's not a moot point to the residents of the town.
Right.
It's like, you know,
And we don't know, we still don't have any official communication from Anita when she's retiring or if she loses an election. So
Right.
it may be a moot point, but we don't know for sure that it will be a moot point. It needs to be considered because it's still an outstanding special act, that hasn't been closed yet.
right.
bylaw review, that's it, that's what it is, and disposition of certain laws, that has to happen. So it's really just the ballot position, and if we were to go with Leah's suggestion of having them do the drawing that night,
Yeah.
then it doesn't add 24 hours. We can change what we wrote in the charter to, from next business day to that night of withdrawals before they submit the ballot. So we added in on the next business day, but we could
We
say,
can scratch it.
we could say a public drawing done the night of withdrawals.
It's fine.
See, and then we're done, we don't have to have another meeting.
Something about the language of immediately following the close of the withdrawal period. So that way it's known that it's
You wanna,
Right at 5
you wanna
o'clock
draft
or
something up
whatever.
for our review, and then we'll just
Yes.
put it out there?
And do it over.
Yeah,
Email.
just send it out over email.
Nine to,
I think, so I think we can discuss the language. The intent is not gonna change, so, you know, via email, we can discuss the language without, you know,
Yeah.
We're just discussing language, we're not discussing opinions
So we're
and
kind of
things.
splitting it down
Yeah.
the middle,
So. divide
kind
it,
of getting
you know,
what we want and also getting what Anita wants.
Yeah.
So
Try to
kind
help
of
them meet in the middle.
compromise there in the middle.
And all the other things, I mean, they are what they are, we're not gonna really deal with that, right?
Yeah, we already talked about them really,
Yeah,
so
so, exactly. Alright, so,
we don't need a meeting.
okay.
Yeah. Not that I don't love all you all, but I wasn't gray when we started this process and I am now. We've been meeting for a long time.
Well, my,
Do we wanna set up a meeting to, my thought is April 1st is the Wednesday after we're gonna have the select board's meeting. And we can set up just a meeting to finalize this
Yeah,
that's fine
and
with me.
just,
Figure out what we
seal
need
this
to
thing and
do.
stamp
Yeah.
it.
what we need to do
and-
to
and
move it.
just say, alright, this is it.
Yeah,
And if there's any other last minute business to deal with, we'll deal with that, but I think at this point, it's pretty much just gonna be up to the town administrator and the select board to, do their thing on getting this on the warrant at that point. This is the final
Yeah.
draft, this is what we wanna put to the town.
I think so.
Lock, stock, and barrel, this is it. We're gonna hear the changes in the select board, we'll try to get a memo from, the town council, and, I'm sure we'll be able to discuss that at the select board's meeting. Take that feedback, meet a couple days later, and it's 2 meetings in 1 week. Again, not all of you have to make that select board, Michelle's agreed to go there, you all are welcome. But, I know,
Hopefully we'll have our new schedule tomorrow.
Lots of things to
Ours
do.
only goes till March 28th.
What day of the week is the 30th?
A Monday.
It's a Monday, yeah.
There was one outstanding, 7-2 budget process. Somebody was supposed to review with the TA and the FinCom for dates and hearing.
that came
yeah.
up with the FinCom last
Question,
week.
change dates for budget readiness, yeah.
I think that they were working on that with Heather. I can follow up with Heather. I'll probably talk to her tomorrow, so I can follow up with her to backdate that.
Okay.
Is that it? Motion to adjourn?
Okay, yeah, do I hear a motion to adjourn? I think I did. Sandra, second?
adjourn.
Bye.
Second.
Second, okay. All in favor?
I
Aye.
Whitman,
All right,
thank you all.
unanimous, thank you.
There.
This meeting is closed.